Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. We have an exciting show for you today. We are going to talk about two things that can help you improve your department and make more money, basically, right? But should I tell you what they are, I'd be giving them away.
I think we have to tease it a little bit.
How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good. You look good.
There is a word that is circling around me right now, and it is opportunity. We have so much opportunity in front of us. Regardless of what's going on socially, there's so much opportunity for repair shops and dealerships to really capitalize on this market that I am really excited. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. How are you, Christian?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Can we start off the show with the joke?
Oh my good Lord. If only I had a joke. Oh, I do. What do you call a cross between a bulldog and a Shih Tzu?
Do you know this, Jeremy?
No, what do you call?
The cross between a Shih Tzu and a bulldog.
No, that's not how he said it. He said a cross between a bulldog and a Shih Tzu. Because if
So
you
it's
do it
strategic
backwards,
almost, right?
It's very strategic.
So are the initials BS?
Yeah. Let's call it bullshit.
Now the show is no longer kid-friendly. Russo is going to be upset about that. Cool. So right off the top, the thing that we need to do is we need to talk about comp winners because, as Christian so eloquently pointed out to me earlier, we have 3 new winners. 3 new winners.
New blood.
3 new assassins.
Nice.
This means that there are 3 managers here that now have done the hardest part of getting to the elite group.
That's right. And 2 of those managers had already done the other 2 easy parts.
So we have 2 new members of the elite group?
Aye.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so in the American comp, the first place manager is Baby Snack. Second place is Turbo. And then the advisors, first place, Uncle Rich. Second place, the closer. Third place, Dingers 15. Fourth place, American Maverick. And fifth place, Frankie. In the Japanese comp, first place is for managers, Al Capone. Great job, Al Capone. And second place is the Prodigy. First place for the advisors, Lucky Luciano. Second place, Sharpshooter. Third place, Carlitos. Fourth place, Judd's mom. That's such a sweet thing to make
really
your
is.
nickname in the comp. Your kid. I wonder if Judd knows.
Yeah, she's sweet, but she's an assassin. Her numbers are pretty crazy.
Well, that's probably why, because you're making friends. Fifth place is T-Fig 35. Now in the Highline comp, first place is Vector, and first place advisor is Rover Hog. Second place advisor is Rooster, and third is Hans. In the Euro Import Highline group, first place is Monster. Good job, Monster. First place advisor, New Spock from our family down in San Diego. Second place,
Nice.
Amish Gangster, who works for Monster. And third place, the Greek Physique. And in the Canadian comp, Maverick is first place manager. First place advisor, Wolfman. And second place advisor, Roadrunner. And in the Asian Zing comp, first place manager is PT. It's not much of a nickname, PT. It's basically your initials. And first place advisor is My Name's Joe. And the real Mario is second place. Great job, you guys. Great month. I've been getting texts about managers having record months last month.
That's
so
awesome.
things are picking up and fun is going to ensue, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Why don't we start off the top of the show? Maybe we should answer some questions. What do you think? Are you ready for some questions?
I am. I think I need to get in touch with my spiritual side. So is God ready to speak with us this
Yes. So let's dial up the voice of God.
Wait, did you say dial? Hold on a second.
If you're listening
Is
to this,
it,
Jeremy has an
it's
old rotary phone.
9
He's dialing God.
9 Hold on, just a couple more digits. Almost there.
Too bad that an area code and you had to do it all, huh?
Well, no,
God,
it's
you
international,
remember?
so we had a couple more digits on top of that.
jeez.
Remember when we used to use rotary earphones? It's funny.
Oh, it's ringing. Oh, it sounds
Okay,
like
voice of God, are you there?
This is the voice of God.
Oh, man, okay. Okay, God, do we have any questions this week?
God has many questions. Question 1. What if there is no pay plan and I continue to outsell all expectations? Between ARO, labor hours sold, and profit margin, I continue to excel. Sincerely, a concerned service advisor.
Hey, do you guys know that there's a wonderful shop in Hesperia, California looking for a really good service advisor that has a progressive pay plan, top of the industry?
What's the
So
name
if
of
you're-
this advisor? God?
A concerned advisor from Southeast
Oh, we don't have a
PA.
name. Concerned advisor, you might want to pull up Hesperia, California on Google Maps and do a little street tour.
It's pretty fun. I mean,
There's
the
some,
directions
let's go through the landmarks in Hesperia, California. Cracker Barrel?
Yep.
I think they have the only Cracker Barrel in all of California.
Now, what's funny
There's a
though, is if you drive-
Staples.
if-
There's
there
3
was.
Walmarts.
They took the Staples out the other night.
The looters?
Yeah, that's the only store they
Staples
ended
will
up
come back. That insurance.
with. Of course they will. That's awesome. Okay, now on a serious note, let's answer this question. Let's help this concerned service advisor out. I always tell advisors, first and foremost, the time to negotiate your pay is before you take the job. So if you took the job and you were happy with the paycheck at that point in time, you have nobody to blame about your paycheck except for you. Most advisors get into this position because it is a performance-based pay plan where they can go write their own paycheck. And if your business doesn't offer that and you're on salary and you're unhappy with it after the fact because you realize there's other money to be made at other facilities or whatever, you basically have to treat this as a sales objection and go in and sell management on a performance-based pay plan. But it's really hard to do after the fact if you've accepted the job. So the time to negotiate your pay is before you accept the job. But if you find that you're kind of here and you're concerned that they don't have a performance pay plan, you've got to go sell management on the benefit of it. What do you guys think?
I would take it one step further and I would say next time don't apply for an advisor job in a communist country.
Wait, come on. There's a lot of service advisor jobs in California.
This is socialism. This is
on,
socialism. It's communism. And
We've had this conversation before.
well, that's how it is in communist countries. Everybody makes the same thing no matter what your performance. It's not a capitalist environment. So next time, come to America and apply for a job.
Does California count in that country? Or
California is
the
getting
communist
closer
nation
and
of-
closer to not being capitalist.
Very unique.
Yeah, very unique here. But good question. I think Jeremy's answer probably sums it up the best. The time to negotiate your pay plan is before. Now you've taken the job, you're there, you're building a clientele, and you're looking around going, oh, hey, I'm doing better than everybody else, but I'm making the same. Well, yeah, that's communism. That's what Putin wants for you.
This next question comes from Lynn. Hi, Chris. Our technicians refuse to work on any vehicles requiring the dash to be torn apart. They do not want to spend any more time than necessary in a customer's car right now. I don't blame them, but it got me thinking, is there a foolproof way to disinfect a car's air conditioning system? We are turning off the fans in the car. I looked into some YouTube videos on how to disinfect your AC, but they all looked pretty unconvincing. Thought you might have some better information. Thanks for the advice.
Do you think some of the chemical companies make foam that sprays into the evaporator into the system? But does that foam kill germs? Well, yeah, it does, right?
I have a can in the back room. You want me to go get it and read it?
What is it?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can we play music during this? Like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Jeremy will be right
He's
back.
got the zombie thing up
Boy,
there.
he was right back. That was
That
quick,
was
Jeremy.
fast.
Speedy going, Jeremy.
I'm just happy that the inventory was where I thought it was. So, like, hey, I found it.
He ran to the parts department.
So, let's see here. Doesn't say anything about it killing germs or anything like that.
Well, you know what I would say is I would call your mock or your BG rep or some of the factory ones. Like you were saying, Jeremy, Toyota makes one.
Toyota actually sells a foam and another chemical that goes in
But
with
we
it.
might not know that off the top of our head.
There is another one that
I know
is a
Mock
mist.
makes a really good one that goes right in the evaporator and it kills whatever mold is in there. But I don't know if killing mold is the same.
I would agree. But yeah, I actually did one of these on Saturday. And what was really interesting is we're up in a dry environment up here, so there wasn't a lot of mold or anything down in the evaporator case, but there's a lot of dust. And I had my boroscope down in there, and after it was super clean, it looked great and it smelled great. So I would definitely look into that. And then also Bosch has just come out with HEPA filters for the cabin air filters. So they're covering like 90% of the car lines. So rather than just putting a paper filter in, they have a higher grade of cabin air filter that advisors can put into the cars now.
Good. Okay, next question. By the way, if you submit a question at info@chriscollinsinc.com, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, we will send you some Service Drive Revolution swag, which by swag we mean a cool t-shirt, a hat, a coffee mug, maybe a notebook, things like that.
I thought for sure Jeremy was about to spray that under his armpits.
Yeah, it also works as an antiperspirant, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Jeremy?
Wait, what are you saying? I stink? Come on, guys.
I think
Well, no, what was it?
you considered it for a second.
Go
What
ahead,
I was going
God.
to say is stick around because at the end of the show, I'll show you how this stuff actually works. I don't want to spray the camera right now, but I'll do it at the end.
This next question comes from YouTube. I've been a service advisor for about 2 years, and I have a quick question. I'm technically the quick lane service advisor, so I'm in charge of 2 guys on our drive. I'm having trouble getting them motivated to turn out 20 to 30 minute oil changes and tire rotations. I understand a few vehicles take longer to drain, so that time is flexible, but they are doing 45 minutes plus, and I can't have that.
Yeah, so there's one way to go at this. You might not like it, but it's worked for me in the past. So the thing that I try to do is I try to establish where the real benchmark is, where possibility is. So let's say that I come into your service drive tomorrow and I have $1,000 in cash. And I say, hey, I'm going to give you guys $1,000 in cash if you can do an oil change in 7 minutes. The world record, I think, for an oil change is what, 2 minutes? Something like that? I don't know, look it up. What's the world record for an oil change? But there's videos on YouTube because we thought about having a contest for that once. So just see, can they do it in 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're distracting them. So you're not going to go to them and go, oh my God, you take too long to do oil changes. You guys suck. 45 minutes is a joke. You're just going to come in one day and you're going to go like, hey, I got a bet and I'll give you $1,000 if you can do an oil change in under 7, because I was watching these YouTube videos and they do it in under 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever it is. And get them distracted and game. Now you don't have to do $1,000. You could probably do $100. Honestly, you might be able to get away with 50. I don't know those techs and what'll get them excited, but play some sort of game and then go, oh, okay, so what did we learn here after you give them the money? What did we learn here?
It's the old bait and switch, if you will.
I mean, I've had this happen a lot of times where we'll have clients and they'll be like, oh, we can't sell rehoses in our area. And I'll go to the store and I'll put $200 up on the board and I'll go, in the morning meeting, 6:45. I'll be like, hey, first advisor to sell a rehose gets that. And it's never been more than 30 minutes. Somebody comes back and they sold a rehose. And then I'm like, okay, what did we learn here? That we can sell rehose. And so maybe set an extreme benchmark that's like, you're talking about 45 minutes, but really you can do an oil change in like 10 minutes. Get them to do one in 10 minutes for a joke or a dare, and then, okay, well, we need to do more of that. Also, you need to take into consideration that maybe they just don't care and they hate their job and they don't want to get better, and they might be the wrong people too. I don't know. Maybe they're in a job and is techs in a quick lube. They don't see a chance for advancement, and so they're already 19 years old and burned out, hating their job, thinking about retirement. And there's got to be more to the circumstance, but that would be my idea for them. What do you guys think?
I think that's great. I think the answer I found online was 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
The world's fastest.
So play on those videos, because there's a bunch of videos on YouTube of guys doing them really fast, and then get them to see like, well, how fast could you do it? And they'll fall for the bait if you sell it really good.
So Chris, here's what's interesting. I use a stopwatch. I get an old school stopwatch, and I bought it at Radio Shack, and I used to tell people to go to Radio Shack to buy the stopwatch because it was like $2.
Hey Jeremy,
but
I just saw it come over the wire. The ticker tape wire. Radio Shack's closed.
I know. I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
I said I used to, like past tense, not.
Radio
now.
Shack's been replaced by Amazon.
Okay. So they used to sell these things. They're called stopwatches that hung around the coach's neck. So I would go into the bay, and I would actually, when a technician was pulling a car in, I would sit there with a video camera and the stopwatch, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, you're doing an oil change on this car, right?" "Yeah." "Oh, don't worry. We're just getting some market data to see how long it takes you." And inevitably, they always completed the oil change, full inspection, and everything in under 20 minutes when it used to take 45 minutes. So I like the idea of holding them accountable to the amount of time that it takes to finish the process. Now, here's what's crazy. In today's world, I watch technicians all over the place. Over 50% of their time is spent in idle conversation that has nothing to do with the job that they're working on, or looking for updates right here. And the one way around that is to help them understand that every minute of our day counts. We're only here for 8 hours. We got to make every minute count and then make it happen. So quantify it, coach it, manage it, document it, and watch the change happen.
Now, Jeremy, when you pointed at your phone and you said looking for updates right here, and you were pointing at your phone, by updates, do you mean looking at Facebook?
That's one of them.
What else?
Instagram, Pinterest.
You're big on the Instagram, right?
No, I don't need. No, I'm not. Yes,
What
my
about
12-year-old
Tinder?
says, "Dad, Facebook is for old people." I say, "Yes, Landon, I'm 47. I understand that. I am old. Get it? Yes." So, or the news. I mean, news feeds, Twitter, whatever it is. But the whole point of this is how much of our day do we actually spend actively turning that wrench, making things happen?
Are you still on Tinder?
I haven't done Tinder yet, but I'm open. Whatever.
Oh, I thought you did do Tinder.
Some other thing.
Oh, that was a joke, I guess. You were telling us.
No, it was
Well,
real. Not a
Chris,
joke.
There was
You
a
just-
COVID
you just-
dating on Tinder joke you told
Right.
once.
You just helped us create a new app. Whatever. It's like whatever lands.
That's the new
There
app?
it is.
Is that it, God, or is
We'll
there
call
another
it low
question?
standards, right?
Low standards, whatever. I am available. Here we go.
This next question comes from YouTube. Chris, I know it's annoying, but in 2020, how much is a good service advisor making on average? Please! Thanks for your kind words, man. Thanks.
As much as they are worth.
Good answer.
Most advisors are making between $300,000 and $500,000.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's like the funniest joke I've heard all day.
Easy. I take offense to that.
Well, you see, he didn't even have to work for it, Christian. Come on. I know you put a lot of time and effort
He's
into
naturally funny.
yours. He's naturally gifted, that's for sure. $300,000 to $500,000. There's some service managers that would like that paycheck.
Yeah, right. That's a hard question to answer because, like Jeremy said, you're going to get paid exactly what you're worth, and that isn't just on your performance. It's also, the place you choose to work and what their pay plan is. So back to kind of what Jeremy was pointing out earlier is if you're an advisor and you're out looking for a job, the first thing you want to do is ask to see the pay plan because, and also ask how often they change the pay plan it'd be a question
Dude,
you
they
want
should
to
have
ask.
their numbers ready. Like, when you talked last week about knowing net to gross, knowing what your numbers are, as an advisor, you should know what your effective labor rate you can carry, what's your closing ratio, how do you excel selling the fourth labor type of diagnostic services, what can you bring to the table to separate yourself from the average service advisor that's going to collect a paycheck. It's a hard question to answer. I think today you've got a shift coming. Service departments and owners are looking at the human capital of a high-priced service advisor and technology. And can our processes start to replace some of the higher-priced advisors? So the high-priced service advisor, if you're not keeping up with the time and changing and shifting and bringing more value, remember, your paycheck is a number that the department heads are going to be looking at, and it could become a pain point. So regardless of what you think you should be making, you got to go out there and earn it every single day. And I got news for you. You got to reinvent yourself in the next 6 months, because those that do should be able to make well into the six figures every single year. A healthy six-figure income is what I believe service advisors are worth if they bring it to the table and execute on it every day.
I think to be prepared for that too is not only should you be able to make a great six-figure income, is you have to be really aware what your return on investment is for the owner, right? So what are you doing for the dealership? Are you taking care of the clients, which I think is a huge part of what we do as a service advisor, and then are you putting money on the books and taking great care and collecting customers as you go forward? So that way, if there's a talk about making the staff go down, you can say, here's what I bring to the table, here's the benefit to you of having me on your service drive. So part of knowing the numbers, as Jeremy is saying, is being aware of what your ROI is.
My last year as a service advisor, I was 23, and I made $120,000 and change as an advisor, and then I got 1099 for like 15 grand from was it Prestige Products, where we sold the wheels, the Vogue wheels and tires and all that. So that's like almost 140. No, it was 23.
And those in the early to mid 90s.
But I'll tell you, the job I had right before that as an advisor, I was making 60. So I more than doubled by going to a different store with a better pay plan. But also like I put up some huge numbers. So.
Can I vent real quick, just because I think our industry needs to hear this, and I think your numbers are just dead on, Chris. Average advisors make between $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Your high performers do get into that $100,000 range, and with what Christian just said, that inspired me to really want to help advisors create a career path and understand. Chris talks about this all the time. Stay in one place, build your clientele. So if you're just a gunslinger running out there trying to get the biggest payday and you move around every 2 or 3 years, that's a big red flag. Let's build better businesses. Let's build better clientele. Let's help our customers take better care of their car and get that circle of trust going where the customers feel like the service department is an integral part of the dealership. And it's natural, if that customer's on a 4 or 5 year cycle for cars, that you capture every dollar that customer is going to spend in the dealership, but you then become part of the fabric of that dealership. I think, putting pay, it is very important. But the guys and gals that earn high dollar amounts as a service advisor, well over six figures, they earn it because they typically have been at a dealership a long time. They've invested, they've, planted the seeds, and now they're reaping the rewards of it. So it's harder to go in and just, go to a new place, make those numbers right away. You need to stay put. And I think you've got to bring a lot to the table. There's a ton of value that we can bring as advisors to earn that kind of income.
Yeah, good. Thanks, God.
You are welcome.
God has me all fired up today. I'm like ready to go.
Okay, the subject we want to talk about today, this was Jeremy's idea, was S.O.S. Do you know what S.O.S. stands for? Do you have an inappropriate joke for S.O.S.?
Man, so many possibilities. I do have a joke.
Okay.
What's the difference between an Indian and African elephant?
Jeremy, what is the difference between an Indian and an African elephant?
I don't know, Christian, what is the difference between an Indian and an African elephant?
One is an elephant.
That was too easy, Jeremy. You should have got that.
It just hit him. He had a 3-second delay.
He did?
Yeah.
Most of your jokes do that. S.O.S, Jeremy.
S.O.S stands for Speed of Service.
Speed of service.
Yes, it's a KPI that a lot of people ignore in our industry, but I have news for you. All of the protesters all over the world, there's one thing that they're really, really trying to drive home, and that is they want speed of service on change. And it's no different with car repair. Customers today demand speed of service. Our numbers are dramatically different when we get the estimate back to the customer within 2 hours of them dropping the car off. 86.3% of customers will buy everything we ask them to if we get the inspection, the root cause analysis, and the estimate back to them within 2 hours. If we go beyond 4 hours, guess where that number drops?
Half.
Yep, 42.6%. So those are our numbers for the first quarter of 2020. So that's proof to tell you guys just a 2-hour difference significantly drops our ARO, our hours per RO, and what the customer wants. So speed of service is key. Now, there's a couple different areas that we talk about in our coaching. We've developed just a wonderful customer experience timeline that has the 10 touch points of the transaction. But what do you guys think are the 2 most critical points where service advisors need to excel and execute at the speed of service? What's the first one?
The one you just said.
I'm glad you're paying attention, Chris. Yes, estimating. Get that estimate prepared and get it back to the customer as quickly as possible. And then what's the second one?
Probably when the car's
Getting
done.
the car done?
Well, yeah, I was going to say how fast we can get to Cracker Barrel, but yeah, getting the car
Cracker
done.
Barrel.
Yes, getting the car done. So those are the 2 that they need to
See
focus
how
on.
I subconsciously earlier planted that in his mind?
that was
and now he's thinking, what's that thing that you order on the menu? Grandma's package or whatever?
Grandma's Kitchen. It's got everything in it.
Grandma's heart attack.
I read an article. It is the least healthy thing you can order in a restaurant in all of America. And that's what he's dreaming about right now. Looking at me, he goes, ah.
Yeah, there's gravy on the gravy.
Didn't you have a
of that
milkshake with it too?
Do they what?
Did you have a milkshake when I watched you eat that?
I did not order a milkshake. Maybe I
Okay,
did.
back to SOS. So then the second one is getting the car done or the truck done
Yes.
or the tractor done or the motorcycle done or the ATV done, whatever it is, get it done.
Oh, it was banana pudding. It wasn't a milkshake. I had dessert.
Gravy,
Sorry, back-
gravy on everything.
Yeah, extra
They're like,
gravy.
do you want white gravy, brown gravy? He's like, bring me gravy on the side.
Was that gravy on the banana
Well-
pudding?
If you wanted it, yeah. I mean, there's gravy everywhere there. Now, I got a question for you guys. So you're going to take your car in for service. You have a 2-week window. Okay, so the car is going to be out of your possession for 2 weeks. The shop A, we'll label it shop A, just for average. They're going to take 13 days and 6 hours to give you an answer as to what's wrong. Once they know what's wrong, they're going to fix it in 5 minutes. Okay? Shop B is going to figure it out within 2 hours of you dropping it off, but they need 2 weeks to fix it. Which shop are you happier with?
Shop B.
Why?
Because I no longer have an open loop in my mind that's wearing me out wondering, is it going to be $2,000, $3,000? What's it going to be? Is it a total? Does it need fixed? It's taken away decision fatigue.
Absolutely. So that's key. And
Did I answer that right?
You did. Yeah, you get a gold
I'm
star.
winging all this, but man, I'm smart.
Perfect. I'm going to encourage every service department out there to really make this a priority, is to get the car inspected, get the diagnosis and the root cause analysis done as fast as you can, and then get those estimates out and watch how your numbers will literally skyrocket. And if you need help putting your systems in place, where do you turn? Who's got the best coaching on the planet for dealerships and independent repair shops? Chris Collins Inc. Let's get these guys into coaching. If you don't have a coach, get a coach. We've got some of the best coaches on the planet that can help you build your systems, especially right now during these turbulent times.
Yeah, it's good. The second money-making opportunity, like Jeremy's saying, it's moving around. You just got to get in front of it, is talking about prejudging. And I think that prejudging happens way too often in our industry. And I know when I was an advisor, and I know we see it all the time, we prejudge customers. And when I wrote service at a Volkswagen Subaru store in the University District. And a lot of the kids that had Jettas or GTIs were college students that didn't have any money. And they were living on top ramen, typical college students. And they'd come in with these GTIs or GLI Jettas. And I would just tell them what the tech wrote on the inspection sheet, knowing that probably fixing it wasn't worth the car, but I felt obligated. I always felt like, well, if the tech recommended it, I'm going to say it, and then I'll prioritize, because some of it doesn't have to be done today. But I remember a lot of times they would be female customers and they would cry and they'd be super upset and I'd feel terrible. And then a couple hours later, Dad would call me and he'd be like, go through this with me again. How much is it? And I'd be like, $4,700. He'd be like, okay, can I give you my credit card? Because Dad didn't want, and at the end of the day, really, I was doing something that, like, who knows, like, who wants their daughter to be in a city far away from, home, from her parents, and break down or have something happen, right? And I really feel like it was the right thing to do, but I was probably the only advisor out of the 8 or 9 that I worked with that would have done that. Most of them would have been like, oh, the car isn't worth it, I'm not going to say anything. They close it out and they prejudge.
Hey, yeah, so, and that's it's very interesting to see how advisors will prejudge on the human condition or the customer, right? Now, what else can we prejudge customers on? What about the age of the car, right? So we had an instance. Can I share a story with you guys?
Please.
Okay. So we had a customer come in with a 2016 Honda Pilot, and it had about 58,000 miles on it. And I remember going through the inspection and just something didn't seem right to me. And I drove the car around the block and it just didn't feel right. So put it back up in the air, come to find out it had blown out front struts and the control arms were torn. I asked my advisor, I said, hey, why didn't we find this? And his answer was 2016 doesn't really need anything. So what's happening with the prejudging there? Because of the age of the car, in his mind, he felt that the car didn't need anything. Well, it didn't have 100,000. Now, how many advisors and how many service departments get calloused, or they get, the fog over their eyes where they do judge the cars that come in because it doesn't have high mileage, it's not old, it doesn't really need anything. And you know what? I have, something from that car I can show you guys. This is one of the control arms, and I'm going to make a necklace out of it to remind my staff that, Christian, what do you think? If I hung this from my neck, would it look good?
Yeah.
It's so much cooler than Flavor Flav and the clock. That was so ridiculous.
Right.
Having that control arm, that's a fashion statement. You just put a chrome chain. I don't think a gold chain would look right, but a chrome or silver chain would be perfect for that.
It's got to be a thick chain.
It'd be so funny if Jeremy started doing that and then people started wearing car parts around their neck. Jeremy, you know what this is, though? You know what this is?
What is it?
Would you know what it is? The problem here. What is the problem here that we're talking about? About prejudging. What is the problem? No.
Dang. Got it wrong.
Consistency.
Oh, that's right.
If you were consistent every time, if you treated everybody the same, every inspection the same, and you were consistent, you would never have prejudice sneak in.
That's brilliant.
That's true.
It's all about consistency.
Yep.
So be consistent, everybody. That's our message to you this week, is be consistent. I'm super proud of all the comp winners, the new ones. We kind of set out a mission to increase our count in the elite group.
We did.
And it's working. We're moving a lot of managers up to elite. It's pretty fun.
And they're earning it. It's not getting handed to them at all.
No, our coaches are very much involved in that too, right?
It's a lot of fun.
From the inside, we did that, but nobody's getting a leg up. They're upping their performance. It's really fun. Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks
Good
for
job,
having me, guys.
man.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.